Auto history, Mr. Mars.
Yes, sir. Found a few things that are interesting this time of year. December the 1st, 1928, the Duesenburg Model J debuted. On this date, Duesenburg unveiled the Model J at the New York Auto Show. Now, this car was designed to compete directly with the likes of Rolls-Royce, and the Model J was unlike anything to hit the road at that time. Before the show, they only had time to get one built, and they had it in there, and of course, the serial number was J101. Finished in silver and black, got a lot of people paying attention to it. Part of that was because it cost $8,500 back in 1928.
Oh.
Now, that was for the chassis alone, mind you, and the sum in 1928 equals around $175,000 in 2022 dollars for the chassis. Now, this car wore a dual cowl, and underneath that cowl was a 7-liter, 420 cubic inch Duesenburg designed straight 8 engine.
Wow.
They advertised it at 265 horsepower, which is big at that time. It's pretty big right now. Now, it powered the car to a top speed of 91 miles an hour, and it was the most expensive production and the fastest production car of its time. Then on December the 3rd, 1979, was the last AMC Pacer.
Oh.
This car came out in February of 1975, and AMC thought they had an instant hit because they sold 145,000 in the first year of production. It was advertised as the first wide, small car because it had 37% glass built into the body of it. So it's like a big fishbowl, and a lot of people called it exactly that. But like a lot of the 70s, the sales ran out of gas. There was a general lack of power. People just didn't like the fuel economy, and they couldn't.
What a freak.
Couldn't compete with all the imports. So,
God, that car was ugly.
yeah.
It's got a sunroof.
By 1979, that car was selling about 35,000 a year, and by the time they actually ended production in 1979, 280,000 were actually made. Just a little side note. A place called the Electric Vehicle Association of Cleveland offered a change of pace of model. They took the Pacers and they converted them to EVs in 1978.
Wow.
There's a big hit.
Yeah, they sold 100 of
Those
them.
taillights look familiar. They've been put those taillights on something else.
December the 1st, 1913, Ford's moving assembly line begins operation. Now, this is really important. We've talked about this a lot of times, but it was the change that he made to actually make the assembly line move so that the workers didn't have to change stations. The car came to them. Mm-hmm. And what it did, it reduced the production time from 12 hours to build a car to just 93 minutes. By moving it and keeping the people in the same place, made them much more efficient, reduced the cost, improved affordability, and that was one of the reasons so many people could afford to buy one. And, of course, it increased wages, and this bled across the entire industry, a lot of different levels. December the 3rd, this is for you, Don, 1965, Ralph Nader's Unsafe at Any Speed is published.
Actually, that first gen Corvair, no.
Yeah.
I had the second gen, thank you.
So this book was published in 1965, exposing the automobile industry's failure to prioritize consumer safety. He was saying that because it focused on style and profit over safety, particularly the Chevrolet Corvair. In fact, the Corvair was chapter 1 of the book, and the name of the chapter is The Sporty Corvair, the One-Car Accident. He argued that manufacturers deliberately ignored risk and creating these poor vehicle designs and made a lot of changes in the industry, led to congressional hearings, creation of the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, and a lot of the safety standards, crash standards, and things that we have today are attributed back to that initial book by Ralph Nader.
Thank you, Ralph.
Well, I mean, he had a point, but
Well, he did, but it was
the swing axle on the Corvair killed it, and
A lot of people, too.
a lot of people. But that wasn't the first car ever made with a swing axle. As a matter of fact, I believe Porsche started that.
I was about to say Porsche was the one that created that.
Yeah. As far as stories.